Welcome to my podcast, Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm so excited you are here. You will hear some incredible stories about how people are serving around the world, how they overcame a struggle, how they serve. These shows will give you an edge in business and your personal life. I believe serving over sales will help you grow in so many ways. And now, about our incredible sponsor, Info. Info is a web app that puts your business on people's cell phones when you meet people online or in person. They can engage with your business or send out referrals with a button click, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The power of business is connecting with more people. Remember, your network is your net worth. Info will do this for you. I would love to help spread the word about these shows, so please subscribe to this podcast and find us on all your podcast platforms. Please share with anyone you know who could benefit from our shows. Please enjoy the show. Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. This show is all about serving, and I have got the epitome of serving and a servant's heart. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to share what you do. I know we met a week or so ago, and you definitely are serving. Let's talk. Let's just go right to the website, paywhatyoucan.peersupport.com. Why'd you start it, and what's the mission for the whole website and what you do?
Well, it started from my own experience going to peer support, my own experience with OCD. So I'm 35 now. I had OCD probably when I was 14, if not earlier. A lot of times people think of OCD as washing your hands or checking or turning the lights on and off. But for me, it was called pure OCD. And it had to do with a lot of sexual thoughts, a lot of gay thoughts, and that's quite common. It's called HOCD, homosexual OCD. There's harm OCD, there's religiosity OCD. So there's all these different kinds of OCD that are going on. I went to therapy, and they never really labeled it. And it wasn't until 2012, I was 25. I'm living in Hong Kong for work. My dad says I spoke to my brother-in-law's brother, and he says, yeah, he told him about me and what I was going through. And he said, oh yeah, Daniel should read Brain Lock. He has OCD, you should read Brain Lock. So I read this book called Brain Lock. It finally put a label on what I had. Just so the audience knows, there's 4 steps. Relabel, reattribute, refocus, revalue. Anyways, that was sort of the beginning of my journey with dealing with and healing my OCD. My mom then found a peer support group in downtown Toronto. I would go. This is 2014, 2015. I loved it, but it coincided with my hockey Wednesday nights. Also, I just thought, wow, there's so much potential here to do other depression, bipolar, eating disorders, and to make it virtual. So I had this nugget of the idea in 2016, 2017. Then, COVID happened. We didn't have to pay our taxes, or we deferred our taxes. I had built a website the year before on Wix I'm in the insurance business. It wasn't as expensive as I thought it was. So I go, you know what? I'm going to do Pay What You Can group therapy. At the time, it was called Pay What You Can group therapy. And then until I switched it to Pay What You Can peer support at the end of 2020. So really, we've been going now for 2.5 years, I would say. Like, let's say we started January 2021, really getting bookings. Maybe that first month we had like 9 bookings or something. And now we're close to 250 every month. And we started with, I think I just looked up like top 9 or top 10 mental health issues. So I started with those groups. Now we're at like 20 different groups, and we have 20 plus moderators, and somebody will say, hey, do a group like this and do a group for this. And so it's growing organically. It is Pay What You Can, so people don't have to pay. So it's really serving a lot of people who can't afford therapy, because I know here in Canada, you go to the therapist, it's $150 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
sometimes over 200. And I'm breaking even. I'm not making any money from it yet, but I do think that I will. I think that there could be sponsors or fundraisers or donations or grants soon down the road. And I pay the moderators 80% of what people pay. So I'm really just, my focus is just grow the monthly signups, and money will come around the corner.
I didn't know your story, and that's that's very impactful what you said. Mental health is a big issue, especially with COVID, still here, but going through COVID. What do you, so somebody's got a situation, they come to your website. Let's go through that journey with that person. We'll see and what they will do.
Yeah, they go to the paywhatyoucanpeersupport.com, www.paywhatyoucanpeersupport.com. They'll see the list of groups. There's 20 something groups. If one resonates with them, they click on the picture, or they click book now. Leads them to to fill out their information, and then they get a Zoom link. They, whenever the group is, they do the group, and then we check them in. The moderator checks them in after. They get an email that says to rate your moderator and pay what you can. And it's I think it's connected through PayPal, and then you could use a credit card. So yeah, it's pretty simple. We try to keep it as simple as possible. That those questions too of, you don't want to be too you don't want to ask too many questions, and like, you want people to just get in there and have the experience. And a lot of people say, why don't you have people pay first? Because that's another deterrent. You just want people to use it, to experience it, to get value from it, to be like, wow, I'm not the only one, or wow, I don't feel so alone. And then they come back, and we have a lot of return customers, if you will.
Yeah. No, you're saving lives. I'm going to say it out here on this publicly, because the deterrent word is powerful. Somebody's got mental health, they can't get help. We know the next step could be not very good or tragic.
Yes.
You're bridging that gap of that deterrence to be able to jump on, and literally you could give the guy $10 or the woman $10 and say, hey, thank you for your time. There's a lot of help. Correct? Or nothing. Of course, we want them to give something, but
yeah, no, but I mean, and the moderators that fit and stick with me, they're not doing it I don't want to say volunteer, but they're certainly not doing it for the money. And they know how expensive, therapy is. And they know that this is a very underserved community. Like, the people who need therapy the most can't afford it. The people who need help the most cannot get help. So that's why I always thought, like, let's just do this. Let's start it. We'll get help from, governments or whoever. And if not, like, really, the site cost me like under $1,000 to run a year. So whatever.
That's great. And just a great servant attitude. You're so humble. It's what's so cool about you, because you're building something pretty massive here, and I want to help. How can people reach out to you if they have questions about the website? What's a way to contact you?
info@paywhatyoucanpeersupport.com. I'll answer you pretty quickly.
Super simple.
Yeah.
Out there in the audience, if we have a moderator that's interested, what are you looking for? What's the requirements, things like that? Because I'd like to build that up for you too.
Yeah, that's we met through Bernie Franscote, right? And Bernie's introduced me to a lot of our current moderators. So shout out to Bernie, and thank you for introducing me to Steve. And yeah, I mean, the moderator, we have to jive, right? And we have to just be on the same wavelength and on the same page, and have the same philosophy, right? Like, there might not be a lot of money here right away, and let's just help people, and let's and run these groups, because we know how powerful they are. So, somebody with an experience with peer support always helps. Somebody in, a therapist, a social worker, they don't have to be credentialed. I say, a lot of the times I prefer somebody with like empathy and compassion as opposed to being credentialed. And that's really what it is. So, at this point, I'm also selective because we do have the groups kind of covered. But if somebody wants to, has an idea for a group and wants to kind of start it, or, let's say they have a Facebook page, and they have 4,000 or something members, they want to turn it into a peer support group. I mean, that would be the best, because now we are getting all these people finding our site. So, I'm always open. We're always looking to add good new moderators, because some moderators have to leave, or they go on mat leave, or they can't, listen, if we're at 250 signups a month, how do we get to 500? How do we get to 1,000? Well, we're going to need more moderators. We're going to need more groups. So if we have 2 anxiety groups now and 2 depression groups, to 10 times it, we're going to have to get 10 more.
Right. No, I like that. No, and audience, reach out to him if you have questions about that. See if you're a fit. You'll jump on a call or a Zoom call with them.
Yeah, of course.
Correct. This is just incredible. I look up at your website, incredible what you're doing. You're so humble about it. But what is your ultimate goal for this site and for this business? It's a business.
Yeah, I know, somebody asked me this earlier this week too, what's your 3-year plan or 5-year plan? I don't really know, right? I just kind of want to keep going for the ride and just keep building it. And I'm so laser focused on the monthly signups. I'm obsessed. Excuse the,
Okay.
and my goal is go from 250 to 500. And then once I get to 500, go from 500 to 1,000. And that really, the site works, and obviously the product of peer support works. So we just have to multiply it and scale it. And the problem with scaling is, okay, well, now you have competitors that are coming at you with the target on your back, and now you have, maybe people think, oh, I can sue, or so I'm going very slowly, and I'm just trying to walk and not run.
But it sounds like you'll figure it out, especially the good work that you're doing. You don't want to deprive anybody with mental health or issues that you're helping with, supporting for. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So ideally, let's break down who would be a person that would want to jump on this website. Maybe their issues, or what are you looking for? Of course, it's not a guy that wants to jump on and learn about food. That's not what this is about. So let's kind of, so the audience knows they can refer somebody to, or themselves can jump aboard.
Well, let me just maybe I'll just quickly riff off, the groups that we have.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Resonates with anyone. So we have ADHD, anxiety, bipolar, changing your thoughts and mindset, couples, coffee Sundays, depression, eating disorders, find your next step, life design and direction, healing and recovery from trauma, LGBT, living with chronic illness, pain, disability, men's group, narcissistic abuse, new immigrants and refugees, OCD, parenting, relationships, addiction, entrepreneurs group, trans and gender expansive support group, and the women's group. So if any of those resonate with the audience, sign up.
While you're saying that, I'm just saying, go out to the website, shout out the website again.
www.paywhatyoucanpeersupport.com.
Yeah, just jump on there and go through like I did. And you got entrepreneurship, the bipolar.
Yeah, I know. Oh, right. That's perfect for us.
I love that. So there might be some people I'm going to share with you, because you can be bipolar and be an entrepreneur. So there's kind of a collaboration, right? Or ADHD.
It's interesting. A lot of times you see some of these new people sign up, and they sign up for a couple groups. Because there's overlap with all of them.
So let's talk about signups. You've said that a number of times. So what happens is I'm looking at eating disorders with Abby Morris. Shout out to Abby. Good job what you're doing. So they would click on her and sign up for a one-on-one, or each one different? Some one-on-one, some group sessions?
They're all groups.
Okay, so they're all groups. And then, so I click on her, it gives me her calendar.
So you go, it will lead
Let's walk through that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to eating disorders. Abby's also a yoga teacher, and yeah, she's great.
That's awesome.
We're lucky to have her. We're lucky to have all the moderators. I really do feel that way. So, okay, you go to the eating disorder page, or you click on book now. The book now then leads to just basically a calendar, right? I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. No, there you go. Yep.
Yeah. And then, pick the date where it's she's Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern time, which might be a little early for your West Coasters, but maybe not.
Yeah. For me, it's not, but you're right.
Go back to bed after. You can retuck.
You're right.
And then you go next, you fill name, email, phone number. How did you find out about us? I've read the agreement. The agreement's just like, we're not therapy, stuff like that. And that's it. And then you sign up and you get the link to the Zoom where you join. You don't have to turn your camera on. You don't have to you can stay on mute, which is kind of a good feature for some people who maybe just want to listen in.
Yes. I like that because privacy is important in a lot of this stuff, the eating disorder, bipolar. I think some people would like to just learn something and not have to expose themselves. Yeah.
And you ask like, who's the ideal kind of person signing up? Like, we have somebody who's come to the OCD group quite often. They come every Friday pretty much, and they didn't know that they had OCD, but it's OCD and intrusive thoughts. And it was, I believe this was their story, and it led them to realize that they did have OCD. And from there, now you have all these books and all these strategies and stuff like that. You can maybe get a special therapist, a specific therapist. So that was big. And that's my story too. Like, when I was suffering from OCD and I didn't know that it was OCD, you go to a therapist, they don't know what it is. They think it's just anxiety. They think it's just, oh, you have intrusive thoughts. Yeah, but intrusive thoughts is often OCD, because there's a compulsion involved and there's a checking. And so I was tortured. Like, really, I was so tortured for so long. And then you go to these peer support groups and you go, wow, I'm not the only one. And wow, I don't feel so alone. And like, just that alone, I mean, that's where our site excels in that feeling, just right there.
It really does. And sharing that is so important, because feeling alone is the worst thing in the world. I mean, we all know that. That's common knowledge to anybody. Building this website, doing everything you're doing, are you a reader? And if you are, what books have you read, or a book you read that's really helped you in your journey?
I'm a huge reader.
Nice.
I'm a huge reader. I get The Economist. So I'm reading that all the time. But when I finish it for the week, I'm reading, those take a book, leave a books. But I would say my favorite books are, I'm a big self-help guy and a big, like mental health guy. But I would say Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl is probably the biggest one, right? And having meaning. And I'm an insurance broker, and I knew that insurance is a steady business. It'll pay the bills. I'll grow my business, but I want to do stuff that gives me purpose and gives me meaning. And that's, I think we all need that, and we get it. We don't need it from our businesses necessarily, but especially if, your family or your charity work or whatever. But I definitely garner a lot of meaning from this site.
Yeah, and I can see why, because I am too. As I go through it, I'm going to keep it up for a while. We're running out of time here. I want to thank you again, Daniel. I want to thank you. God bless you for what you're doing. You're making an impact in the world. more people do what you do, it's going to change. Please reach out to him, listeners. Please check him out. At least look at the website. I want to triple his views this month in April of 2023. Just look at it. I think like I did, I spent about 10 minutes on it. I don't do that on websites, but I'm reading and learning. You know, Basim, I'm looking at, does another great thing with bipolar and on and on and on. It's needed now more than ever after COVID. So thank you so much. But I also want you to leave the audience with some advice. You've been through a lot in your life. You come out the other end so well and you're so successful. What would you leave them to help them on their journey?
I just think you gotta, keep rolling with the punches, and I love entrepreneurship, and I love building, my insurance business and this business, and I've written a book. It's called The Power of Giving and How It Leads to Success and Happiness. And, just, I guess just, when you feel down, just keep going. Tomorrow's another day. I know I vent to my parents a lot, and so that's the best advice that they give me. Tomorrow's another day. You'll feel, you may feel down right now, but just keep going, and time is on your side when you're an entrepreneur, and when you're building something. Don't give up. Just keep going and focus on the positive.